teachers refusing vaccinations would not be allowed to teach. Motor vehicle and driving licenses moratorium extended. Hello and good evening. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos, and you're watching News at 10. Well, the Education Ministry has determined that teachers who refuse to be vaccinated will not be allowed to interact with students face-to-face when schools reopen on 3rd October. And Education Minister Dr. Razmi Jidin said the measure was to ensure that the school ecosystem would be safe for students.
Namun buat masa ini seperti mana saya sebut tadi, guru-guru yang tidak divaksinkan as of now mereka tidak akan dibenarkan untuk mengajar dalam kelas.
The minister also said the ministry is taking the relevant step to ensure that parents are confident that the school environment is safe for their children. Dr. Razmi had earlier held an engagement session with parents, teachers and school administrators in Perlis to get input regarding the reopening of schools on 3rd October. He said there are still 2,500 teachers who have not been vaccinated and that 96.7% have received at least one shot, while 85.26% have completed both shots. He said the ministry would issue assignment guidelines for unvaccinated teachers. Dr. Razmi also noted that besides teachers, school support staff, including canteen workers, cleaning staff and security guards at schools, must also be vaccinated. Well, there is still hope for Malaysians, including single individuals, to be allowed to travel interstate in the near future, but everyone must be patient for the time being. The Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said discussions with Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah had been held, and the standard operating procedure, the SOP for the relaxation, would be presented to the National Security Council soon.
Ada beberapa negeri yang mana masih lagi nilai ambang vaksinasi dia rendah sedikit. Ya. By the end of September ni, semua negeri akan sampai nilai ambang 60% lengkap populasi dewasa lengkap vaksinasi. So sikit lagi, just a bit more time.
Khairi said that several SOP relaxations would also be announced in the near future, including allowing cinemas to operate and open to individuals who have completed the COVID-19 vaccination. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today called on the entire keluarga Malaysia to register for vaccination, if they have yet to do so, to enable the country to safely achieve herd immunity against COVID-19. And on his Facebook post today, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said to achieve herd immunity, those who have yet to register for vaccination should do so as soon as possible. He said it was great to see those who were fully vaccinated dining in at restaurants and spending time outside, adding for those who have yet to be fully vaccinated, their time will come soon. Malaysia aims to achieve herd immunity by end of this year and begin the endemic phase. The Negeri Sembilan government is optimistic of transitioning to phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan, or PPN, soon. Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun said that it was following the state's achievement to reach herd immunity level with 80.9% of individuals completing the second dose thus far. However, several things were still being studied, including the number of patients in the intensive care unit, the ICU, before further action could be taken.
Daripada fasa 2 ke fasa 3 ini memang agak cepat dalam tempoh 10 hari. Kalau kita kira daripada awal 26 hari bulan Ogos sehingga ke 4 hari bulan ini dalam tempoh 10 hari. Dan ini merupakan satu perkara yang baik, dan saya harap dalam tempoh ini juga saya harap semua masyarakat kita bersyukur dan kita berharap kita tidak melanggar SOP yang telah ditetapkan.
Dato Sri Aminuddin also expressed his deepest appreciation to all parties and the people in the state who cooperated well in the efforts to move to phase 3 of PPN tomorrow. He said this to reporters after attending the opening of the first meeting of the fourth term of the 14th Negeri Sembilan State Legislative Assembly today. In the meantime, Dato Sri Aminuddin said that the state government's next move is to track those who have not been vaccinated in the state, and that action will be taken once all individuals on the My Sejahtera list complete their first dose next week. Well, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya are poised to move into phase 2 of the National Recovery Plan PPN in the near future. Federal Territories Minister Dato Sri Dr. Shahidin Kasim said that both federal territories have achieved more than 100% vaccination rates for first dose recipients.
Laporan daripada Kementerian Kesihatan menunjukkan Kuala Lumpur kita telah capai lebih daripada 100%. Putrajaya lebih daripada 100%. Tetapi beberapa indikator yang lain yang harus dipakai untuk bolehkan kita masuk fasa yang kedua. Fasa kedua ni penting sebab dia akan melibatkan aktiviti ekonomi yang merupakan aktiviti utama di Kuala Lumpur. Dan di Putrajaya pula ialah aktiviti pentadbiran negara yang juga tersekat dan terhalang kerana kita masih di fasa 1.
He was met today after a working visit to the Federal Territories COVID-19 Coordination and Management Centre (CCMC) in Kuala Lumpur. Dato Sri Shahidin added that tourism in the nation's capital and Putrajaya remains a crucial sector in efforts moving into the next phase of the PPN. The Transport Ministry has extended the moratorium to renew motor vehicle licenses (LKM) and Malaysian driving licenses (LMM) to 31st December. Its Minister, Dato Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong, said expired road tax or LKM and LMM will not be subject to enforcement and compliance activities by the Road Transport Department (JPJ) and police until end of the year.
Ini bermakna kenyataan sebelum ini yang dikatakan penguatkuasaan akan bermula pada 1 Oktober tidak akan dilakukan sehinggalah 31 Disember 2021. Ini melihat situasi pandemik COVID-19 dan kita tak mau membebankan rakyat. Jadi saya selaku Menteri Pengangkutan, saya telah menggunakan kuasa saya di bawah Akta dan saya akan wartakan perkara ini.
Dato Sri Dr. Wee said with the extension, the public can be assured that no action will be taken against those with expired Malaysian driving licenses, as well as road tax by the Road Transport Department, JPJ enforcement officers and the police. He said motorists with expired road tax must, however, ensure that the insurance for their vehicles are valid and at the same time to display their insurance e-cover note for authorities to check. In August, JPJ had said that all road users must renew their licenses by 30th September and that checks on compliance and enforcement would start from 1st October. These licenses include the competent driving license, CDL, motor vehicle licenses, LKM or road tax, goods driving license, GDL, and the public service vehicle, PSV license. In a related matter, flood victims in Yan and Merbok, Kedah will be exempted from paying replacement fees for their missing motor vehicle license (LKM) and Malaysian driving license (LMM). Dato Sri Dr. Wee, when announcing it, said the exemption to pay the replacement fee is only for those who lost their license or being damaged in the floods.
Dia kena bayar, tapi kita bersimpati dengan keadaan mereka dan kita dah umumkan dan maklumkan pada cawangan JPJ yang berkenaan. Okey, perkara ini akan kita sampaikan secara detail kepada mangsa-mangsa banjir.
However, he said they have to produce a police report on the missing license. The replacement fee set by the Road Transport Department (RTD) for driving license is 20 ringgit, motorcycle road tax 20 ringgit, and car road tax 50 ringgit. A water surge phenomenon occurred in Gunung Jerai on 18th August, causing floods that claimed 6 lives and affected about 1,000 houses in Yan and Kuala Muda. woman sentenced to jail for using others' ID to acquire vaccines. Well, Finance Minister Tengku Dato' Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz will propose to raise the statutory debt limit to 65% from the current 60% of the gross domestic product, that's the GDP. Well, I said although the statutory debt to GDP ratio is currently at about 58%, given the commitment made by the government to support the people and businesses, the debt to GDP ratio would probably increase to above 60% by year-end.
Because of that, we have to go to Parliament to increase that from 60 to above. And of course, the plan is to present to Cabinet first, which I will be presenting next week, to increase it to 65% and then go to Parliament at the right time.
Well, asked if the government would consider foreign borrowings due to the limited fiscal space, Tengku Dato' Sri Zafrul said the government would not borrow in foreign currencies for now. However, he admitted that the government has limited fiscal space, but that has not stopped it from continuing to expand its fiscal policy to support the economy. Perodua sold more than 6,000 vehicles in August 2021 compared with only 655 units in July as Perodua's manufacturing and sales arms gradually resume their operations after being allowed to operate on 16 August. In a statement today, Perodua President and Chief Executive Officer Dato' Zainal Abidin Ahmad said production and registration numbers are expected to multiply in September as the situation normalizes. Initially, all of Perodua's operations were halted following the national lockdown, which started on 1st June 2021. And on a year-to-date basis, Perodua registered 104,933 vehicles, a 12.5% drop compared with 119,977 vehicles sold between January and August last year. Well, Dato' Zainal Abidin said Perodua is working on closing the gap by increasing its manufacturing output as well as further improving its standard operating procedures to ensure the safety of its personnel and customers. He said based on the time and resources available, the company reduced their sales target by 10.8% to 214,000 units for this year from their earlier target of 240,000 units. He added that Perodua's main concern now is to ensure that the automotive industry will be able to sustain itself this year as COVID-19 and the semiconductor supply shortage continue to haunt the manufacturers both domestically and globally. The company's CEO also noted that they were able to secure enough semiconductor chips to ensure that production would resume smoothly this year, adding that most of Perodua's outstanding orders would be met within the year. A Myanmar woman who obtained her COVID-19 vaccination by using the identity of another person was sentenced to 18 months jail by the Aikro Magistrates Court today for the offence. The magistrate, Muhammad Nazrin Ali Rahim, meted out the sentence on Tat Tatma, 27, who pleaded guilty to 3 charges. Well, on the first and second charge, Tat, an assistant at a food shop, was charged with deceiving Dr. Deong Shea Yi, 43, and nurse G. Savitri, 23, by using a passport belonging to one Tan Lin Tun to obtain both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine at Clinic Medivion, Taman Cheng, last 20th July and 18th August. Well, both the charges were framed under Section 419 of the Penal Code for fraud by impersonation, which provides an imprisonment for up to 7 years or with fine or both if found guilty. She was also charged under Section 6, Subsection 1, Subsection C of the Immigration Act 1959-63, amended 2002, for entering and staying in Malaysia without valid documents. Muhammad Nazrin sentenced her to 6 months jail on each count to be served concurrently from the date of her arrest, which was last 18th August. Deputy Public Prosecutor Anis Najwa Nazari prosecuted, while the accused was unrepresented. The Royal Malaysian Customs Department, JKDM, foiled an attempt to smuggle out 400 kilograms of methamphetamine worth 14.4 million ringgit in an operation at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, air cargo complex last Tuesday. Well, JKDM Director General Dato Sri Abdul Latif Abdul Kadir said the operation was carried out by a team from the department's narcotics branch who found the clear substance hidden in tea packets which were filled in a number of boxes. Well, 3 local men aged between 25 and 56, including a dato, were arrested during the operation.
Sindiket cuba menggamburi pihak berkuasa dengan cara mengikrarkan barang yang mengandungi dadah sebagai birdcage trolley. Birdcage trolley di dalam 2 kotak kayu yang besar, sedangkan di dalamnya terdapat kotak-kotak mengandungi dadah yang disorokkan bersama pakaian. Tiada apa-apa kaitan.
Dato Sri Abdul Latif said all the suspects were believed to have made 11 similar shipments since last year, with the drugs supply were from local and international markets. The trio have been remanded till 13 September to assist in the investigation. The case is being investigated under Section 39B, subsection 1, subsection A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. In sports, national Paralympian archers' medal dream dashed. More after this. Well, straight to the story, national archery champion S. Suresh's medal dream was dashed as heavy rain in Yumenoshima Park Archery Field hampered his efforts to advance to the second round at the Paralympic Games today. Now, the 2019 World Archery Champion was shown the exit after losing 2-6 to the Russian Paralympic Committee's archer Bato Sesdendorziev in the first of the 1-of-16 elimination round. Now, the Kedah-born archer was a bit shaky in the first round. That was making him lose 23-25 before bouncing back to win the second round 28-25 and tied the score at 2-all. However, Bato regained a 4-2 lead after winning the third set 25-23 and maintained his momentum to win the final set 28-23 to confirm his slot in the next round. Well, rain and strong wind completely extinguished the fire in his medal quest. Well, although hard to accept, the 2019 World Para Archery Champion admitted that the 2 factors had contributed to him being shown an early exit, thus failed to bring home the desired medal. Well, despite bowing down early, the 28-year-old athlete said the experience he gained in Tokyo would definitely be used wisely to face tougher competition and get a podium finish in Paris 2024. And with that, we end today's news at 10. Well, in our top story today, unvaccinated teachers will not be allowed in classroom. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon at 12:30 afternoon. Tomorrow for the latest news at saluran Berita RTM and TV2. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Good night and thank you for watching.